Hello everyone. Before diving into today's topic, we want to take a moment to thank you for your support. Every like, comment, and subscription truly makes a difference and helps this channel grow. If you enjoy our content and don't want to miss future videos, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to get all updates. At first glance, a meteorite fragment might seem like nothing more than a blackened piece of rock, a mute relic from the depths of the solar system. But what if, instead, it were a potential cradle for life? Not alien life in the conventional sense, with tentacles and glittering eyes, but something subtler, more unsettling, and at the same time more promising, a dormant ecosystem, fertile ground awaiting a biological spark. This is not science fiction. It's a new scientific frontier called astroecology. Imagine a not-so-distant future in which a space colony, millions of kilometers from Earth, manages to grow algae, fungi, and perhaps even vegetables, not in artificial greenhouses, but directly on asteroid dust. Such an extreme and yet fascinating prospect may seem impossible, and yet more and more researchers are seriously exploring this hypothesis. The idea behind astroecology is as simple as it is revolutionary. Celestial bodies, even those that seem most inhospitable, might contain the resources needed to support life. Not just as environments to explore, but as habitats to colonize, transform, and perhaps even cultivate. It all began with a bold intuition. If life on Earth arose from a combination of carbon, water, energy, and time, why couldn't a similar dynamic occur elsewhere, or be artificially triggered? Carbonaceous asteroids, for example, contain complex organic molecules, water in the form of hydrated minerals, and an abundance of metals and nutrient salts. When the Hayabusa 2 probe returned samples from asteroid Ryugu to Earth in 2020, scientists found traces of amino acids and prebiotic organic compounds. A clear indication: the raw materials for life are not rare in the universe. The real question is another. Can we harness these resources to create true extraterrestrial ecosystems? Initial experiments suggest we can. Some Earth-based laboratories have tested the growth of simple organisms, like cyanobacteria and green algae, on lunar and Martian regolith simulants made by crushing actual meteorites. In the presence of light, moisture, and adequate temperature, these microorganisms not only survived, they thrived. Even lichens, symbiotic associations between fungi and algae, proved surprisingly resilient, maintaining vitality after weeks of exposure to space-like conditions. Astroecology also serves as a theoretical bridge between two complementary visions. On one hand, the possibility of terraforming planets like Mars or moons like Titan. On the other, the fascinating and controversial hypothesis of panspermia. According to this theory, life might naturally spread across the universe, carried by meteorites or comets, perhaps even by fragments of destroyed planets that once hosted primitive microorganisms. If conditions on an asteroid can indeed support some form of life, then it's not far-fetched to think that Earth life could colonize other worlds, or that microscopic alien forms may have already visited Earth, long before us. This is where the research gets even more intriguing. Studies conducted in Earth's extreme environments, oceanic fumaroles, hypersaline deserts, acidic mines, suggest that life can endure far harsher conditions than previously thought. The so-called extremophiles are bacteria capable of living under crushing pressures, in oxygen-free settings, or amidst radiation levels that would kill any other organism. And guess what? These same conditions are found on many celestial bodies. Astrobiologists are now asking, what if we inoculate these resilient microorganisms into an extraterrestrial substrate? Could asteroid Bennu, or a shadowed crater on the Moon, become a kind of living ecological experiment? This type of research isn't just about satisfying scientific curiosity. It could be crucial for the future of space exploration. Any long-term mission, to Mars or beyond, will face the challenge of sustainability. Bringing all resources from Earth is logistically prohibitive. Growing food, producing oxygen, and recycling biological waste in space will require closed, resilient ecosystems. That's where astroecology might offer unexpected solutions. The stakes are high, and the possibilities are manifold. Some scenarios suggest that selected asteroids could serve as mobile agricultural bases, wandering the solar system and providing vital resources to future human colonies. Others go even further, imagining terraforming stations built directly on nutrient-rich meteorites, powered by microbial bioreactors capable of extracting essential elements from space rocks. And as science ventures into bolder territories, fantasy starts to feel almost conservative. Because if life can truly take hold wherever a minimal balance of conditions exists, then every fragment of the universe might hold the potential to become something more. A field. A laboratory. A future ecosystem. If it really is possible to turn a mass of silicates and metals into a biosphere, then the vision of space colonization changes radically. We are no longer forced to bring Earth into space in the form of pressurized modules and high-tech greenhouses. We can instead adapt to the environment, harness its components, and build life where once there was only inert matter. Nature itself, properly guided, could become our colonial engineer. This scenario brings surprising applications. One concrete example is bioleaching bacteria, organisms capable of solubilizing precious metals and rare materials found in extraterrestrial rocks. They would not only allow for cultivating mineral resources without mechanical excavation, but would also produce chemical byproducts useful for life: oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, nutrients. Some microbial strains, already used in terrestrial mines to extract copper or uranium, are now being studied for their potential in deep space. When combined with artificial photosynthesis systems and miniaturized bioreactors, they could transform an alien rock into a small, self-sufficient biosphere. The same idea applies to food production. Growing plants in space is a major priority for space research, and astroecology offers an alternative route, no longer relying on sterile substrates and synthetic nutrients, but creating truly biologically active soil from local materials. Some experiments with lunar regolith simulants have shown that, when enriched with biological compost and symbiotic fungi, these substrates can host edible plants like lettuce, tomatoes, and even strawberries. The benefit isn't just nutritional. Vegetation produces oxygen, absorbs CO, and helps create a more stable and livable microclimate. But research goes even further. In laboratories, closed ecological systems inspired by Earth's biospheres are being tested. Miniaturized ecosystems made of bacteria, algae, plants, and small invertebrates, capable of self-regulation for years without external intervention. These micro-worlds, enclosed in glass spheres or inert containers, serve as models for future habitats on Mars or orbital stations. These are studies that blend biology, chemistry, physics, and even art, as they explore the boundary between what is alive and what is sustainable. However, the implications of astroecology go beyond the technical level. There's an entire ethical and philosophical dimension still to be explored. If we begin transforming celestial bodies into artificial ecosystems, are we truly colonizing space, or are we sharing it with life? And if microbial life already exists on a meteorite or a Martian crater, perhaps dormant or imperceptible, do we have the right to alter its environment? The possibility that life is not exclusive to Earth radically changes our relationship with the universe. Every intervention, every experiment, could have not only biological consequences, but also cultural and moral ones. Then there's the most fascinating and perhaps most unsettling aspect: artificial panspermia. If life can take root on extraterrestrial substrates, then, in theory, we could deliberately export it. Imagine automated probes carrying selected microbes to asteroids, moons, comets, with the goal of seeding life across the universe. not out of necessity but by choice. A cosmic ecology created by humans. Some see it as a sublime gesture, others as an act of hubris. But it's a possibility science is starting to consider with growing seriousness. The long-term prospects are as bold as they are enticing. In a distant future, we might imagine entire archipelagos of asteroids transformed into floating greenhouses, places where life adapts to low gravity, light filtered by the void, and exotic minerals. Each celestial body could become a unique microcosm, a different evolutionary niche where new biological forms develop, shaped by cosmic radiation and alien geochemistry. It would be an expansion of biodiversity not only into space, but also in its very definition. And finally, the spontaneous question arises. If we can bring life to an asteroid, can we also bring it back? Can we use astroecology to rescue endangered Earth ecosystems, to learn how to regenerate desertified lands, to apply in reverse what we've discovered in space? After all, every cosmic experiment is also an experiment on ourselves. Studying how life thrives in extreme environments teaches us something profound about its resilience, and perhaps about our responsibility to protect it, wherever it may be. Astroecology is not just a new science. It's a new lens through which to view the universe. An invitation to imagine the cosmos not merely as space to explore, but as ground to cultivate, with respect, with vision, with hope. Because perhaps, among the dust of an asteroid and the cracks of a lunar rock, lies the future of life itself.